Good morning, Very Active friends. It is Wednesday, and I am checking in for my week with you to find out what you're doing to be active this week. Nobody's leaving me comments on my YouTube, so I don't know if I'm out there, but anyway, for me, yeah, I'm sitting in the house today because it's poopy weather still. But for me, today I did hit on the Stairmaster at the gym. I've not been able, I ran last week and I just tore up my left hip pretty bad. So I've been resting from that. And God's been doing a lot of amazing things, I have to just say. My hair looks crazy. In my life. Because my story is so crazy, it's so long and it's a lot and I don't want to go into all of it right now. I'm trying to do just little snippets here and there so that it's not so time consuming. But anyway, what you need to know is that God really got a hold of me yesterday. He'd been working on me here and there, just kind of like tapping me on the shoulder. Excuse me. And tapping me on the shoulder saying things like, we need to get this eating under control. Not that I was eating donuts and crap, but I would have cereal. I'd have a handful of cereal. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that I was tracking every single number. Protein grams, fat grams, carbs, all of that. Staying really low calories, like 500 to 700 calories a day. I was exhausted. I've had absolutely no libido, which my husband is not thrilled with. I haven't had a menstrual cycle since January. And I got talking to my primary care doctor last week, and she said, sounds to me like you're in something we called the female athlete cascade, I think is what it was called. Or triangle, I don't know, it was something, but basically it's where like female athletes, like especially marathoners, they exercise so much that their body just loses weight, your hormone levels get all whacked out, your menstrual period stops. So that's a possibility, but also I've always been really irregular at this weight, so I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, the point is that God has been working on me, just kind of trying to get my attention about being so anxious about food and weight loss and everything. And it struck me yesterday. Well, let me back up a little bit. My husband had said at my 1-year post-op to the psychologist that he thought I was struggling with an eating disorder. So I talked with him about that a little further. This was, of course, the first he had ever said anything to me. And I said I should probably begin counseling because with having a background in clinical social work, I know the importance of counseling. I'm a huge advocate of it if it's done well. Jeff and I were in Christian counseling in 2008 to 9. Phenomenal. It saved our marriage, to be honest. And I'd been looking for that type of counselor. They're called NANC. It's a different name now, but I couldn't find anybody here in Chicago. So I just prayed and I'm like, Lord, I give this all to you. And if you want me to be in a Christian counseling environment with a NANC certified counselor, you're going to have to make that happen because I'm not finding them, but I am struggling. So we've been going to this church for about 3 weeks, and the worship is kind of but the preaching is spot on. And so when I was telling Jeff I was struggling with finding a Christian counselor, he said, why don't you look at this church we've been going to? And sure enough, they have a counseling ministry. So I reached out to them. I met with the pastor who's over that ministry yesterday, and I was giving him some background information and that I'm familiar with Christian counseling and that Jeff and I had done this NANC counseling, and he gets a huge smile on his face, and he's like, I'm actually NANC certified. And I'm just like, shut up. I'm thinking this. I didn't say it, but I'm just thinking, shut up. Like, God is so amazing in that way. And so we spent the next hour. He just got some background information, asked me how he could help me. And I told him, I said, I have a real numbers addiction. I just have to count everything. And I'm trying to reach this goal weight number. And I'm like basically starving myself to get there. And I feel anxious about it. That I'm going to somehow fail at this surgery, even though I'm doing everything right. I'm getting my protein in. You know, I could probably get rid of the like crap, like the cereal, but otherwise I'm really not, doing anything crazy. And so, he gave me homework for next week, and, just some things that stuck out to me were, the couple of things he said was, have you asked the Lord what weight he wants you at? And I was kind of floored by that, because I haven't asked him. I just thought, 157 made sense to me because it's half of my highest weight. Then 165 made sense to me because it was the top range of what the surgeon had said. But the surgeon never gave me a goal weight. I pushed him for a goal weight. That is my biggest regret in this whole journey, was that it was me that said, what can my goal weight be? What's my goal weight? And it struck me yesterday, somebody on one of the bariatric Facebook pages posted, she's my height, 5'7". She started about 300 pounds. I don't know the surgery type, but she just hit 180. Looks phenomenal. And she's thrilled. And it struck me. I thought, why am I not okay with being 180? Like, that's fabulous, Angie. That's a great achievement. That's 130, I think, 30 pounds lost. I don't even know, because I can't do math that quick. And I said to this guy, well, it struck me, before I went to him, I feel like the Lord really spoke to me and was showing me the reason why that number has not been okay with me is because my first really serious romantic relationship, was with a guy who was older than me, that I just thought he set the sun and the stars, in this guy. He could do nothing wrong. He was, accomplished. He had gone to a well-known university. He was an officer in the Army, whatever. And he was very subtle in controlling me, and how he would make comments. I could be thinner if I just did this, or if I ran, then I wouldn't have so much fat around my midsection, and that is not why I'm running right now at all. I'm running because it's always been a personal goal of mine. Before I met him, we've got runners in my family. That's just a side note. Anyway, I basically lived with this guy, so you can let your mind go wherever you need to on that situation. But it was really before I knew the Lord. I would say that I was not a Christian. I put on a good game, though. I was churched. I knew about God. But it was the first experience I had with people that were just slightly older than me, like early 20s, that read their Bible and seemed to live a Christian life. And this guy was one of them. So I figured, surely he's got my best interest at heart. Surely. He didn't. He was out for his own selfish ambition. But I didn't know that. I was 18, 19 years old. And that relationship ended catastrophically for me, in that he messed around on me. I was devastated. But ultimately, I look back on that, and I thank God for all of that. I wish some things were done differently. But I look back on that, and it really put me on a path of, who do I say God is? And so ultimately, that was not the springboard that led to my salvation, But God uses all things for his good. And I eventually became a Christian, and I decided that I would not just marry some doofus that I thought was like so amazing. And I wanted, my only request, I said to the Lord, I don't want to get married if I can't marry my best friend. And I laid it down, and I think it was 5 years later, and I didn't date in that time frame. I wasn't interested. I was just really healing. And I think it was about 5 years, maybe 4, when it was a little less than, no, it was 5, that I met Jeff, my absolute polar opposite of any type of guy that I've ever been attracted to. Here's this kid, skinny, the scrawny little thing, long hair, hippie type of guy. But he loved Jesus, and he had a worshiper's heart, and I was drawn. And we butted heads, and we still butt heads, to be honest. Ask anyone in my family. But we developed a friendship, and long story short, the Lord just knew what I needed. And I married this amazing, amazing man who has loved me through a brain tumor, a stroke, 2 high-risk pregnancies, constant migraines that would have me landed in the hospital. He loves me today with droopy boobs and excess skin, and has never said to me, Angie, if you just did this, you wouldn't gain weight or you could lose weight. He has never, ever made me feel insignificant, ever. And I thank God for that. So I'm going to leave it there. That's just kind of a 12 minutes, so I want to leave it there. But today's very active post for all of you is, what are you doing to be healthy physically, spiritually, and mentally? And if you're struggling in any way, you can reach out to me. I'm going to tell you all about Jesus, because I believe that without him, we have no hope. And so there is no hope apart from God. It's just the bottom line. And so every answer that you may need for anything is in his word. And that's just the truth. And so this is a little deeper than I normally do on a Wednesday, but I just think that it's important that I'm real with you, and that if you happen to click on my video, that you see, you know what, this is a girl that has struggled, but she relies heavily on God, on her relationship with God, because without him, I would just be a mess. I don't even want to think about it. Anyway, so that is it. I may do another, like a 2-part. This might be a 2-parter, but this is the first part. So get active, very active friends, and decide what you need to do mentally, physically, spiritually, to be a success, a long-term success at this journey. Have a great day.